Let's get salty!
Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and Iksar has posted his latest AMA on Twitter, and well, I thought it would be a good time to go over a recap over it this week as well. We did it for the first time in a long time last week. You guys seem to enjoy my takes on it, and I thought, well, we'd do it again this week and see how you guys feel about it. So if you aren't aware, Iksar, lead card designer of Hearthstone, answers questions from the community every single week. If you want to follow him on Twitter or just check out this thread, I'll link it in the description below. But I'll go over some of the more interesting questions that at least I felt were interesting, and go over some of the takes that he had and my reaction to them. So Ben Hearthstone asked Iksar, depending on your definition, there are currently 7 different game modes in Hearthstone today, with mercenaries coming soon. As Ben Lee has said, Hearthstone is a platform for card games. How many modes do you predict Hearthstone will have 5 or 10 years from now? Quite the bold question in direction, and Iksar responded with this. I could see us doing different formats within a game mode, but not many more totally different game modes. When we make new cards, all card formats benefit. Wild, standard, arena, wild, duels, etc. I don't know, I might want a debate of a mode benefits from new cards these days. Having lots of different ways to play is great, but it creates a huge content pipeline for us. We spend so much time in upkeep, it's hard to spend time in innovating new things. The next year or two in Hearthstone are likely to include system level improvements and improvements to existing game modes rather than new ones. So basically what I get from this is there's probably not going to be much new game modes coming out in the future. I think Mercenaries is probably going to be the last one for a while, and it looks like they want to focus more on either improving current modes or just improving the current systems. Like right now, and I might have a video on this very shortly, the game is like a mess. The game itself, like the game it operates on, is a mess. It's laggy. There's issues with the friends, like the friends list is literally bugged. There's so many different issues, and it feels like all this stuff is just piled up, and it's getting worse and worse. And I guess with them working on mercenaries and doing all this other stuff and all these modes, it feels like maybe it's gotten a little bit, it's piled up. It's piled up on them. And yeah, I would be very surprised to see a new mode anytime soon after mercenaries. And I think it's for the better. I mean, we've got enough content right now. We need the content to actually be playable and fun and enjoyable. And right now, I think we're struggling a lot with that in a lot of formats. Like Wild right now is pretty unplayable with like the way Warlock is, and I feel like, yeah, new modes are great, but if they're the current ones and existing ones aren't exactly playable and fun, or even the experience to play it with like the whole systems and all that isn't fun, it's kind of a problem. And we're getting to that point, and I feel like this is kind of even alluding to it, that maybe they need to be touching up the current stuff a little bit more. I was asked, will there ever be a way to share an account's collection cross-regionally? I can't play Master Tours qualification, so I can never hope to be on EU or APAC Gamer as it stands, even though I'd like to participate with and be influenced by those ladders. Basically asking, can I use my cards on the Americas server on EU, or use them on Asia? Right now it's literally locked. Like, you have to have a full collection on each individual server if you want to play on them. And Iksar responded with, we'd be an incredibly large tech change that I don't see us taking on. Would have to punt many features down the road to make it happen. Basically sounds like that's not going to happen, and that sucks, because I don't know, it feels silly that you're supposed to like technically own like the same cards on 3 different servers if you want to play on 3 different servers, and that's egregious. It's ridiculous, but I mean, I guess financially it doesn't make sense for them to do it, and they're not planning on it anytime soon. And yeah, I actually, for a while, I was playing on all 3 servers. I was trying to make it work, like free to play on 2 of them, and of course Whale on my NA account. But yeah, that just, I couldn't keep up anymore. Even on EU, I gave up, and yeah, so I only play on 1 server now. And I don't know, it's like, I don't think they do it to gouge people, because I don't think realistically that many people are going to log into multiple servers and play. But I just feel like it can't be that complicated, but apparently it is. So If you're looking to play with your cards on all servers, doesn't look like that's going to happen anytime soon. Would you ever make an expansion completely available for one payment? For example, I pay 100 euros to get the whole expansion, but without any golden cards, or for example, 15 to 20,000 gold. And Iksar responded, probably not for the latest expansion, although we've discussed this idea for non-latest expansions. I think this was brought up last week. I don't think I brought it up in my recap, but they talked about possibly having old wild expansions be completely purchasable with gold in game instead of having to spend money. So doesn't sound like that'll ever happen for the current expansion because, you know, but if you could buy an entire old expansion with gold, at least it's a step in the right direction and would be really cool. But I don't see that translating to a current standard expansion. Iksar was asked any plans to keep the tradable mechanic going on in future expansion. I love the mechanic because it's pretty innovative and sees success. It can see some future, but I think you have to be careful with power creep and with not exaggerating with future cards. And Iksar responds with considering it. There is pretty big design space in tradable. We'll evaluate over time. No need to make a decision now. So yeah, I mean, they're open to it. We talked about tradable being a really cool mechanic that a lot of us would like to see again in the future, and it seems like they're open to it, so that's pretty cool. Iksar was asked chances of other universes coming to Hearthstone, and recently Magic basically lined up that they're going with like Warhammer, Lord of the Rings, Fortnite, and Street Fighter, like all this crazy shenanigans. So Iksar was asked and he answered, we'd have to create a product that made sense for it, probably a purely cosmetic product that is alternate card art for existing cards. Are we open to it though? We've had some very initial discussion with other IP holders to see if there's interest in a collab. What anime should we do? If there's an excerpt from a real email where I ranked personal opinion, the Japanese IP I'd be most interested in collaborating with in Hearthstone. Can't really share details of anything came from it. We all have dreams, okay? And he mentions here Pokemon, Demon Slayer, My Hero Academia. I don't know. I don't even know what that is, but I'll get roasted in the comments. That's fine. Dragon Ball Z, Final Fantasy, which would be like my dream come true. That'd be amazing. Naruto, One Punch Man, and Jujutsu Kaisen. And yeah, so it's kind of cool that they've looked into it, that there's, you know, they're open to it. It's, I imagine the logistics and the copyright and the money and the profit sharing and all that would be an absolute logistical nightmare. Plus, you know, Final Fantasy 14's doing really well against World of Warcraft right now and seems to be pretty contentious. So I don't know how this would ever work out. I would love to see a crossover, be really cool. Again, I think, yeah, like a cosmetic route would be the way to go. You don't really want probably to influence real cards or anything like that other than like an alternate art, but I think it'd be really sweet. And maybe let me know in the comments below what other IP you would love to see, you know, Hearthstone crossover with. Another question here is how many expansions the dev team tries to stay ahead from now? And I've always been curious of this. It's usually like 3 ahead, and Iksar responds with, we are currently in week 6 of design on the set that will release at the end of next year. So that's like the 3rd expansion of the year next year. So I guess they've already completed the next expansion, the one after that, and the one after that. Like, that's kind of insane that they you know, when they plan that far ahead. And like it seems like, you know, with all the balance patches and they all don't seem to, you know, see what's coming up. I feel like it's, damn, that's stretching pretty thin. It's crazy to think they worked that far ahead, but yeah, if you're wondering how far ahead an expansion they work on, that's that far, and it's literally like a year ahead from now that they're already planning the cards. And wonder what the power creep will look like in that set. Holy jeez. So question here, the implementation of the random card back has been one of my favorite features. Think there's any chance of also applying this to the coin hero skins? And I would love this to like a random alternate hero card or hero portrait, because there's so many now in the game. He says, yeah, it's on a backlog of things to do, but we've had to table most of those things while the team focused on getting Mercenaries released. So something that they're planning on doing, apparently. It's just, yeah, Mercenaries, again, bogging things down for the current modes and all that. So if you're looking for that button where you can, you know, select a random hero portrait at some point, probably coming, just not at least until well after Mercenaries comes out. We have another question of, will we see any updates to the dungeon run style solo ventures, like new cards in the buckets, new bosses, treasures, the chance of using golden cards based on their collection? Iksar responds, probably not. We want to do single player content again someday. So if you want more dev effort on the dungeon run front, it'll probably be in form of something new. So you're not going to get your old dungeon runs updated to be more modern. The only thing that will happen is, well, you'll get a new dungeon run at some point. So sad to the people that kind of enjoy that content, but again, I don't think they're going to get too excited to go over an update like year-old content, just the way it is. And we'll leave off with a pretty contentious question I see a lot of the time. Do you ever pick your nerfs in regard to the dust rewards that may be given out to players, or is the rarity of the cards nerfed irrelevant in balance talks? Iksar responds with irrelevant. The team that makes the balance decisions is completely separate from any of the teams that deal with the in-game economy. And I have to agree with this one. I mean, if you look at the latest balance patches, 8 cards, the nerfs were pretty ineffective. They didn't do a heck of a lot, and they were mostly epic, some legendary, some rares. Like, I don't think they dodge, like, they won't nerf a card because it's a legendary. Like the quests, I don't think they don't want to nerf them because they really are passionate about the quests. They think they're really fun or good for the game, and they don't see a problem with them yet, and they want to give them time, not because they're legendaries. And I may disagree with the fact a lot of this stuff, and I think some of these quests should get nerfed, but it's not because, oh, well, they don't want to give us 1600 dust or whatever. I really don't believe that, but you know, there's some people that will never believe it, and you know, I understand that. There's some, you know, there's incentives to not nerf a legendary because of dust refunds, but in the long run, I don't think they're going out of their way on that one. So that's my take on the latest Iksar AMA. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.